speaker of the evening. He is working on his first storytelling project, and it's called, apologize if I get this wrong, Androcles and the Lions. Androcles and the Lions, John Moore.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. As you just heard, this folk tale is called Androcles and the Lion. Once upon a time, in the faraway kingdom of Rome, there lived a slave. His name was Androcles. And life was hard for Androcles. He worked from early in the morning until late at night, always underfed, and his master was cruel and used to beat him. He didn't have a family he was born into, he didn't have a wife, a child, a friend, or a pet. He had very little in his life. He had no education, he had no chance for self-edification. The rich young Romans were able to attend public speaking classes, but there was no Toastmaster available for Androcles. And so, the injustice was too much to handle. He was so fed up, his life felt almost hopeless to him. He didn't know what to do. But finally made a decision, but it wasn't capricious. He said, I don't care what it's going to take, I'm going to go for it. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran. He ran up mountains, he ran down valleys, he ran through forests and through streams. He ran all day and all evening until nightfall. He was exhausted. He finally reached a cave in the middle of nowhere and lay down on the cave floor, and he slept the sleep of the dead until early in the morning, when he was awakened with a roar. He looked outside the door of the cave, and there it was, a lion. He was feeling anxious. But then he realized the lion had his paw in the air, and this meant there was a problem with the paw. He appeared to be injured, and he wasn't sure what he could do about it. And he said, he went through this internal battle between selfishness and caution and compassion. What should I do? He said to himself. Should I help out a fellow living thing in distress? Or should I just be a coward and run away? He decided to do the right thing, and he tenderly, slowly, cautiously walked forward towards the lion, looking for any chance of an attack. But there was no attack. And so he reached the lion, and with one hand he grabbed the paw. With the other hand he slowly began to extract a thorn that went all the way through its paw. The lion uttered an audible gasp of relief, and he slowly walked away. Meanwhile, Androcles hadn't eaten since the morning before. He did a lot of running the day before, and he had a very empty tummy. And so, he began to go through the bush looking for any kind of food he could find, but all he could find were berries. He was very hungry, and so he ate the berries. But that was it for the day. He went to bed that night, he was still hungry. Got up in the morning, he walked to the cave opening, thinking about his empty tummy, and there it was. Fresh meat outside the cave door. A big piece of fresh meat. He gobbled it down like a pig, and he saved some for that night. He'd never been so satisfied with a meal as he was that time. It was a beautiful meal. Raw and all, he didn't care. He ate that fruit and he loved it. It turned out that the lion would often go hunting in the daytime, or often sleep in the daytime and hunt at night. So every morning from that moment onward, the grateful lion was leaving that great, beautiful serving of fresh meat right in front of the cave door. And he ate well. They began to get in the habit of going off to play together in the woods. It turned out that Androcles and the lion were both alone in this world. They had no families, no friends, no children. They had nothing but each other. And so a friendship developed. They began to move in unison. They went everywhere together. Everywhere there was to go nearby, they went together. And their friendship grew stronger and stronger. In English, there is this really negative expression. It's depressing. good things don't last. As it turned out, it was true for them. One day, out of the blue, a rope net was wrapped around the lion, and Androcles found his hands yanked behind his back and tied like that. Oh my goodness. Those rotten Roman soldiers had found him. They were out looking for an escaped slave, and they found one. And they began to mock him. You thought you could escape from the clutches of Rome? Don't you know there's no escape from Rome? There's nowhere you can go and get away from us. No matter where you go, we'll find you, anybody like you, and bring you back to face your fate. And on that topic, we're going to make you regret the day your mother gave birth to you in pain, because you're going to experience pain 1,000 times greater than what she went through. Yes, you know what happens to escaped slaves? We're going to toss you into the Colosseum, where you're going to be eaten alive by hungry lions. And we're going to be there. We're going to watch it, and we're going to enjoy seeing your blood and your guts and hearing you scream, Androcles. Yeah, you can look forward to that, can't you? Androcles tried not to cry. He tried to be a strong man. And finally, to boost his sagging spirits, he began to sing a triumphant war song. When Androcles comes marching home, hurrah, hurrah. When Androcles comes marching home, hurrah, hurrah. I'll be on my way, and the slave will be freed. When Androcles comes marching home, hurrah, hurrah. They got to Rome. The lion got to ride in the cart, and Androcles had to march the whole way. They threw him in jail. It wasn't too many days longer before his big day came. The people came to Rome from 100 miles away for the big event of seeing grown men being torn to pieces and eaten. Androcles' little door opened, and reluctantly he stepped out, rather timidly, not looking forward to his fate. He knew he couldn't kill a lion. And then the double gates are opened for the lion, the big gates. Roar! And the lion leaped out and leaped towards him. Oh my goodness. It's my friend, it's my lion, my pet. And he raised his arms, and he and the lion shared a hug. It was a lion hug, better than any bear hug. It was deep and warm and affectionate. His best friend, the lion, was the one who was there. Now it was the crowd's time to roar with excitement. They'd never seen a man hug a lion before and his life be spared. And so, even the emperor was impressed. "Come here, my boy," he said to Androcles. Androcles went forward. And the emperor asked him, "Why did the lion spare your life?" Androcles explained to him, "When he needed help, I gave it to him. And now that I need help, he's giving it to me, and he's sparing my life." The emperor was so impressed, he says, "My boy, I'm going to grant you your freedom. And one more thing, I'm going to grant you the greatest prize in the whole world, the United States of Rome citizenship." And so, they gave him that. And he was now free to roam around Rome. The lion walked back to the woods. Androcles found a good job, had some weekends off. Whenever he did, he'd go back out to the woods and visit his friend the lion. For the rest of their days on earth, they were friends. You might ask, is there a moral to this story? Yes, there is. It's called the Golden Rule. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you, or treat others the way you would like them to treat you. There are many versions of this rule. The Buddhists and the Hindus have a concept called karma. When you do bad to others, bad comes back to you. When you do good to others, good comes back to you. What goes around comes around. The Quran says, when someone does evil to you, respond to his evil with kindness. And the Talmud says something similar to that, and it adds to it, and that is the whole law. All the rest is just commentary, just fluff. Nothing else really matters. Jesus said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone," and nobody could throw a stone. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let no one launch an unprovoked attack against another living thing. Mr. Toastmaster.